Alright, what's up guys? I'm bringing you today my Blue Eyes Invoked deck profile. Very, very enjoyable deck. I think I've really come onto something with this new build. It's really, really good. It beats a lot of decks it really shouldn't be beating. But let's get to the deck profile now. For starters, we've got 3 copies of original Blue Eyes White Dragon. Just the regular vanilla Blue Eyes White Dragon. We've got 2 copies of Alternate Eyes. You don't need to play 3. You are going to win in 1 turn, or your opponent's going to win in 1 turn. But usually, you're going to use all of the resources you have that are available to either stop your opponent from doing anything with the board you set up, or just OTK them shortly afterwards. But definitely, you just want to, you don't really need more than 2, and not to mention they are searchable. We've got 1 copy of Dragon Spirit of White to get around back row. We've got 2 copies of the White Stone of Ancients. You will actually be using this more for its first effect than its second effect, just to put resources back into your hand, to be 100% honest with you. Sometimes you'll need to, summon on end phase, but the problem with summoning on end phase, it's like, let's say you set up a board, end phase you summon a blue eyes, like, what in the world is this going to do for you at the end of the turn? I mean, honestly, nothing. It's a regular monster. Or like what is this going to do? The spirit during the end phase, it's a little slow. Like, what are you going to do? It's kind of pointless. So I'd say run it at 2, but it's still like decent because we're playing the full draw engine. We've got 3 copies, of White Stone of Legend. This is key. Now, other people don't really play this at all in Invoked, and I don't understand why, because this card requires you to discard, and when you discard one of these, you get to loop a regular blue eyes to your hand, so you get to recur the resources over and over again. You keep getting cards, so you're constantly able to discard, which is really, really good. Same thing with Invoked Mechaba. You need to discard for this, so by using this one, you can get another blue eyes to your hand. You can keep getting resources instead of running out of resources, which is why I really like it a lot. Same thing, just generally fusing. If you fuse this away, you get more resources. And we also play some more cards that help that too. Then we've got Alistair, 3 copies of Alistair the Invoker. We need to draw this. This is our main normal summon. We don't want to normal summon anything else. That's why we don't play Sage. This is the card that you want to normal summon. This is what you're using your normal summon on. We've got 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier, another good card, especially very good with the White Stone of Legend and the White Stone of Ancients, but of course better with the White Stone of Legend because you get a free blue eyes. It's basically like you activate this, discard White Stone of Legend, uh, discard this, add another one of these, add another blue eyes, and then you get this again. And then you get the special summon Cyber Dragon Infinity. So basically that and that is a free. It's like a little 2-card combo. This, Galaxy Soldier and White Stone of Legend is basically like a free Infinity. Next we've got Chaos Dragon Levineer. This is searchable with Melody of Awakening Dragons, and its effect is basically if you can banish 3 light monsters to special summon it, then you summon another light monster in defense mode, make a rank 8. Or if you banish a collection of lights and darks, you can destroy 2 cards non-targeting. And if you banish all darks, then you can take a card out of your opponent's hand. But most of the time, you'll be using the first or second effect. Then we've got 1 Chaos Emperor Dragon. I'd be playing the prize card, but I'm not buying it, so we're playing this one. It's good. It's an extender. You banish light and a dark, summon it. You're never going to use its regular effect. I mean, unless you're like, swinging for games somehow, that's it. But other than that, you're really not going to be using that effect very much. You just basically use it for rank 8s. Next, we've played 2 copies of Magical Meltdown. This is, again, because we want to draw. We want to get to Alistair as quick as possible. It is once per turn activated, so if it gets ashed, you don't want to, see it again. We've got 2 copies of Terraforming. It's limited to 2, and 2 copies of Invocation, because you don't need to play more than 2 because you can reuse it anyways, so you're only really going to do like 2 fusion summons in a turn anyway. Got 1 Book of the Law because it's searchable by Alistair the Invoker of Madness. Very good card, lets you tribute one of your invoked cards, summon another one. We've got 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragons. Again, very good card. Discard 1 card, search any of the Chaos Dragons, including Emperor Dragon, any of the regular blue eyes or alternate eyes. So very good. Search is a huge part of the deck. Next, we've got 3 copies of Trade-In. Again, very good card. Nice extender, draw power. 2 copies of Cards of Consonance. Might even bump it up to 3 because of the amount of eggs that we play. Then we've got, for our sort of reborn engine, we've got 2 copies of the Return of the Dragon Lords, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and 1 copy of Dragon Revival Rhapsody. I would play more of this in theory, but like the problem with this card is it's a hard once per turn, so you never ever ever want to see more than 1 of this in your hand. So you might as well just play it at 1. I mean, that's the easiest way to avoid it. None of these other ones are once per turn, so why not? We've got 2 copies of Evenly Matched. You could play 3 if you really needed to, but I think 2 is enough. Usually you see it when you need it anyway. It helps you negate trap cards with Mechaba. So next we've got the extra deck. We've got 1 Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. We got 1 Hippo Shinigami, 1 Linkuriboh, 2 Invoked Mechabas, 1 Purgatrio, 1 Elysium, 1 Invoked Calculus, which is very good against not Pendulum, which is very good against Paleozoic frogs. If you make this against them, they really can't do anything. We've got a First of the Dragons. This card, if you make this against any of the Sekka's Light variant decks, like Thunder Dragons, or what's another Sekka's Light variant deck? What's that thing called? Like Burning Abyss or something. They really can't do anything against you because you put this in defense mode. It's unaffected by all monster effects, and in addition to being unaffected by all monster effects, it can't be destroyed by an effect monster. So they just have no way to beat it unless they have a monster with piercing, which they don't. So you just put that in defense mode. Wait till you have enough resources in your hand to swing for a game, and then you just summon Purgatrio and attack every monster they have until you do just enough damage, and then it's on them. Do they want to just call it and go into game 2, or they want to just sit here and play the slow game until they deck out? So it's up to them at that point. Definitely very good against the deck. We got 2 Blue Eyes, Twin Burst Dragon. Again, usually I just play the Synchros, but I'm not going to play the Synchros because Invocation lets me fuse my 2 Blue Eyes out of the hand. Sometimes you want to put Blue Eyes in the graveyard, use the ones on the field. This card lets you get around big monsters that are very difficult to destroy, because if it lets you attack 2 monsters, and if the monsters don't die, then you get to banish them. So if you have if you're playing against an opponent that has, like, let's say for example, like a Chaos Max Dragon type monster, you could just use this, non-targeting, banishing. It's really, really good. And again, you can fuse it out of your hand with Invocation. Same with this. That's why I play these 2. Then we've got 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Nova and 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity. Again, this is for the Galaxy Soldier plays. We've got number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon, and True King of All Calamities. You just make 2 Mechabas and you go into this. It's a very easy play to make. I might show it right after. Alright, then we've got the side deck. We've got 2 Spell Cancelers. This is how we beat Mystic Mine. I don't really see a point in all of the complicated, using Twin Twisters, hoping you draw it, and then they dodge it with Metaverse. I think that's a pointless effort. You might as well just use all of your draw power and all of your deck thinning to get to these 2. Tribute either an Alistair or something you special summoned, and that's it. Just tribute for Alistair, and summon out this thing, and then it turns off both their Wave Motion Cannon and their Field Spell. So it's that simple. It's okay against Sky Strikers, I'd say. Decent. Then we play 2 Lancias to stop the Orcust and the Thunder Dragons. We play 3 copies of Cyframe Gamma. This is an easy replacement for a lot of cards in the deck. Like, let's say for a fact you're going second, you just side out the, what's his name? You can side out some of the Chaos Dragons. It's very easy siding in this deck. You side out some of the Chaos Dragons. You can side out the Galaxy Soldiers. Again, very easy to side in this deck if you really need to. Side out that stuff. Got the Gamma. Then we've got Mud Dragon and Starving Venom, just side out. Again, if you're siding out the Galaxy Soldiers, easily just get rid of the Nova and the Infinity. Put in these two if you need to use them. Of course, for those two, we have 2 copies of Super Polymerization. And then for the really back row heavy decks, we've got 3 copies of Red Reboot. So that's everything there. I think I'm going to show one combo real quick. One easy going first combo or a going second combo. We'll see. Whatever works here. We're going to just add Melody and Terraforming. And also you can, the Melody and the Terraforming could just be a Blue Eyes and an alternate Eyes. The Terraforming can be a Melody or a Alistair the Invoker. It can be any of those things. Basically, we're going to have these two, and then let me just put 5 random cards in my hand. There. So this is a going first strategy here. Usually not going to go first, let's be honest here. But we're going to just do it real quick and activate Terraforming, search out the Magical Meltdown, activate it, add Alistair the Invoker, activate this, discard a random card, search out the Blue Eyes and the alternate Eyes. Then we're going to activate alternate Eyes, reveal, special summon. We're going to link these 2 away, special summon Alistair the Invoker. And, oh, I forgot to add, off of this, I forgot to, after the normal summon, I forgot to add the invocation. But basically, we're going to activate invocation. We can fuse Alistair and Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes goes to the graveyard because he was from the hand. Alistair gets banished. Summon out Invoked Mechaba. Now we activate the effect of this, discard a random card. Again, we have combo extenders in theory, right? So in theory, we'd be discarding stuff like Legend and stuff like that. But, you know, for this combo, we're just going to discard a blank, activate. Yeah, so we're going to activate Invoker of Madness, discard a random card, and then add our second invocation. And then we're going to activate the effect of our graveyard invocation, add invocation to deck, add this back to hand. At this point you can, depends on if you want to banish it or not, but you can activate this effect, make him 1000 more till the end phase, activate invocation, banish the invoker, and banish a Blue Eyes from the graveyard to summon a second Invoked Mechaba. And then at this point it's up to you, right? So we have 1 card in hand, but in reality we would have 4 more cards in hand because, you know, we're kind of going double on everything because we're adding more and more cards. So you can leave this board as is, or you can overlay these two into True King of All Calamities, which is usually the best play if you're going first, if your opponent forces you to go first in this particular deck, which again, you're trying to go second, you hit them with one of these, and they'll usually end their turn, and then the following turn you'll have some sort of follow-up plays. But if you, for example, wanted to OTK in this situation, we'll do this again. But this time we'll OTK. We'll do this again, but we're going to OTK this time. We're going to add back all of the cards. Magical Meltdown and Melody, and then random cards. Make sure the random cards aren't costly. So I just 3 random cards and Melody of Awakening Dragons. So we'll activate this. We're going to search out Alistair. We're going to normal summon Alistair. We're going to add invocation. We're going to activate Melody. We're going to discard a random card. Add Blue Eyes and alternate Eyes. We're going to summon alternate Eyes. We're going to activate effect because we're going second to destroy a card on the field. We're going to link these two away. Summon Alistair the Invoker of Madness. we're now going to activate the effect of Invocation. We're going to get rid of this from our hand. We're going to get rid of Alistair from our graveyard. We're going to special summon Invoked Mechaba. This is not at my hand. Alright, so now we're going to activate the effect of Invoked Mechaba. We're going to discard a card. And we're going to add Invocation to hand. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I was supposed to keep this in hand. I was supposed to banish the alternate eyes from the graveyard, so I'm keeping this in hand so I can discard it later. So I'm going to activate the effect to discard this to add Invocation to hand. We're going to activate nothing yet. We're going to keep the Invocation in hand. We're going to activate the Graveyard Invocation, put it back in our deck, bring Alistair back to our hand. We're going to discard Alistair, targeting that to give him 1,000 more attack. We're going to activate Invocation. We're going to banish Alistair. We're going to banish Blue Eyes to summon out the another Invoked Mechaba. Then we're going to activate the effect of Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, because it's not once per turn. We're going to discard a random card to add the Book of Law. And now we can attack. So we're going to attack. This one's 35 because we discarded 35, 18, 25. Activate Book of Law. Activate Book of Law, and we can go into Purgatorio or Hoculus if you wanted to. Also, if they had a really strong board, you could have just fused earlier for these, fused away these two for an Elysium if you really want to get rid of some serious stuff. But yeah, it's usually going to end up being game. But that is about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.